There are things we can do. We bring it good news and we give it to you. We touch it for podcast and connecting people and culture from getting up out of the club. What is our people who waiting to sell? The blessing that time and the efforts are rest. The brothers giving us the end, the promise from them. The work of my life without again.
I lyrical
Master.
Play body so make you I can't Sktv benyo. Say my journey, tina get I say my jamo. And you no money, emu aye yo. And you love emu aye yo.
Sktv, the best in Liberia. Sktv, the best in Africa. Sktv, the best in Mama Liberia. Must hold by the lofa and grandmaster.
And I didn't ya to money, and I said ya to money, and I couldn't play ya to money, and I could do ya to money, and I didn't ya to money, and I said ya to money, and I couldn't play ya to money, and I could do ya to money. I don't forget it now, ya to money. That's the TV, and I don't forget it now. Toss you walk on my ya to money. Yeah.
Sktv, the best in Liberia. Sktv, the best in Africa. Sktv, the best in Mama Liberia. Must hold by the lofa and grandmaster.
There are things we can do. We bring it good news and we give it to you. We touch it for podcast and connecting people and culture from getting up out of the club. What is our people who waiting to sell? The flesh, the time and the efforts are rest. The broadcast we giving are real and the promise from best. To work with my life without fear. From Grandfather Nima to Lufa, from Riverside, River G to Chile, from Grand Crew, Bombing, Kidman, Montserrat, San to Bacalu, from Maryland, Bonk to the Mikey B. We the best in the land, yeah, LIB. We the best in the land, yeah, LIB. We the best in the land, yeah, LIB.
Sktv, the best in Liberia. Sktv, the best in Africa.
In the Sktv, we are the best. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, people. To all of you out there, channel listeners, our supporters, our well-wishers, and those of you always burning your batteries, your data, and making sure that you follow our broadcast. Let me say, yes, indeed, you are the, well, should I say, the hero, the heroines, and so forth. Yes, indeed, you are the best. Because why? It's not easy though for other people to be talking while other people are sitting and listening and following them, and taking some of the things that they are saying. Sometimes consider these things 100%, sometimes disagree, sometimes agree. Yes, indeed, that's the beauty of life. So good evening. Help us share the show. Those of you who just joining, help us share the show. Good evening to all of you, our followers, our listeners, our viewers. If you're on the internet, please, if you are not on the internet, maybe you want to watch the show. Also, good evening to all of you. Many thanks. Those of you who in Nimba, indeed, that's just so magnificent. Good evening to our people there in Nimba County, and good evening to our people also in Lofa. Good evening to our people in Papolu, Bopolu City. Good evening to our people there in the southeast, in Maryland County. Good evening to our people in San Grand Crew, Grand Gile, and another Riverside. River G and everywhere. Good evening. Those of you in Grand Bassa, good evening to you. And those of you in Monserrato, let me say good evening. Monserrato is a hub. I don't know, for everything. Because it's the capital city, so many things happen here. But good evening to those of you that are in Grand Caymount County, indeed. Yes, indeed, Grand Caymount County, Bowman County, Bon County, and Mangibi. Good evening to all of you, our people. Yes, it's good to be alive. The more you live long, the more you follow a lot of things happening, and you see everything that happening. And sometimes you tell story. You tell your children about the happening. If you live with them, to to follow some of these things, to take these things into consideration. That's how the issue of oral history, came about. Because you live long, you got to take down all of these things and make this thing out of history for the other generation that will come. So again, it's good, people. It's good to be back. Wednesday, Thursday, we were here. Yesterday, we talked so many things, but today we're here on the trending national issue of the day, the hardcore politics, the things that are making the news of the day. Yes, indeed. I know we may not agree with everything, but at the end of the day, we have to disagree to agree. That's the beauty of life. Let me be frank and tell all of you out there, our people, that sometimes when you see us agree with some of the policies, some of the things going on, it doesn't mean that I know sometimes people feel, oh, they finna buy you. You know, the country interesting. Yeah, let me share the link around first while we do the sharing of the show. You know, people just let's some of us here on this island, especially in Liberia, I don't think some of us, I don't think we're really ready for Liberia to move forward. Maybe some of us just let's people just want to be on side. Whether their side is progressing, whether their side is making progress or not, they don't want to be on side and be able to talk what they want to talk. But some of us, we're for Liberia. That's why we are thinking, laughing, and want to build Liberia. Even though I'm a deacon slogan, but this time I'm deacon not usually talk about that anymore. My deacon is not talking about build, think, and love. I don't know what's going on. Maybe the deacon changing that slogan, maybe it's not really unique. But for some of us, we love it so dearly to our heart. Build, love, and think. Yes, for me, I like that. You can call me any name you want to call me. You can say maybe when you cross over, you cross it. Well, let me get some before I even cross over. That's the thing. But again, people, good evening. Help us share the show. The show will be interesting. The most talk about prophet. Wow. I don't know. Sometimes their life is interesting. Help us, people. Those of you who are watching, let me recognize a few of our followers on the platform this evening. I'm seeing here Mantonia's son, also watching from VOA Junction. Robin Gay also is a good evening neighbor. Yes, my brother, good evening, Robin Gay. Emmett Hammer, Ayesha, one of the closest person in the media, who always love in the media, rather, Emmett Hammer. Good evening, my dear brother. And I'm seeing one of my colleagues here, Fitira Emily Fisher Williams. Also, Vic, what's up? Everything with you, my dear sister. And Momo Yan, Chairman, Momo Yan, good evening, my brother. What's up? Everything, Chairman. Look, Chairman, we're on the weekend, the Friday is here. And you got to do everything possible, Chairman Momo Yan. And Emmanuel Bala also watching, a good friend of mine, also from their down the line, now in the U.S., and watching from Data Taxi USA. That's good, my brother. Thank God for your life. At least you are not transitioned from living heat, frustration, and so forth to a better life. Your 6 months in the U.S. is far better than those of us who here for the past 10 years who've been working. So that's a difference. That's why some of you who want us out not want you to do politics, to see the politicians that good people know. When we see you in that kind of form, man, then we get issues. Go to the issues and tell the politicians to do better for our lives. But I think good evening, Emmanuel Bala, a good friend of mine, my brother, and Monk also, and David Williams, also watching Aaron T.D. Colley, and our own full soldier, Yumutu Asadu Mensa Aoma. She was also watching this evening. Thank you so much. Monk is here already. Let me see. I better to send a link. I'll start to bring more on. Let me see. I hope this thing will not come back to this. Okay, good. Today we'll grab everything today. So Monk is here already. But more quickly, before I welcome you, my dear brother, let me speak to a few of our people. Mo Kane watching. Yes, indeed. Thank you, Mo Kane. Sheikh Soko also watching. Say you're on the SK show to know how to talk or as a Supreme Court. Man, that's why we do all of these things. We record everything. And in fact, even the Prophet Key, he record himself. So to tell you that yes, that you are really frustrated on what he said, or maybe what he was saying that day. But Mustafa Balo, my brother, good evening to all of you. Mark, good evening, my dear brother, and welcome to the Friday edition from another Friday weekend. Good morning, good afternoon.
Yeah, thanks. Good to be here. Today is Friday. the 13th of February 2026. We are here to cover issues, most especially the trending issues, to the audiences or audience around the world, from the US, Canada, Europe, and more specifically Liberia. That's where the bulk of the audience resides. Yep, we will be talking a lot of issues today. I hope some of the old hands can call to weigh in. The show is going to be interesting. We want to talk about the legality. For me, I think it's the situation happened to Prophet Key. It go both ways. I'm not trying to take a side. I just agree on this whole myth of freedom of speech and things that are inappropriate. And I see it's a power grab and an abuse of power. I believe that the Supreme Court Chief Justice, he want to be like a dictator. He's a total Ahmadinejad or King Jong-un that is wearing a black robe. And we must be here to keep people in check, irrespective of which side of the political aisle you find yourself. This is not politics. This is bigger than politics. Whenever the Supreme Court makes a decision in terms of a ruling, they set precedent for the future. So it might be Prophet Key today, but it's bigger than Prophet Key. There is not a lower court. There is not some local jurisdiction. There is not some circuit court. We are talking about the Supreme Court of the Republic of Liberia. This is how you destroy a society. But we'll get in details when the show starts, so you can keep sharing the show. We got more to go. I'm seeing on the screen, I think less than 300. So when we hit that 600 mark and more, or 500 plus, then we can start diving into the topic. But anyway, it's good to be here as always.
Yes, Mark, I like that. It's good to be here, and you already started, and that's it. Everybody will have their say today on the show. Even those of you who are also following and commenting, you can also comment and have the say. We are here. We are here for, everybody have their freedom, or they have their own free will to talk about things, issues of national concern. So yes, keep commenting. Those of you who are commenting, yes, indeed, keep commenting. And trust us, we're going to read all of your comments out there and inform all of our listeners out there exactly about what you are saying. But again, Mark, you are quite correct. So today, we're going to go more deeper into the entire Prophet Key Wahala, the situations, and how all of these things started, and in fact, how you came into prominence. And today, people are also into the same habits. Whether should we continue, should we stop, or so on. That's another thing. But again, like Monk said, this is beyond what some of us are thinking. Well, we don't know. Maybe Mom will tell us what are some of the things that beyond this, if it's beyond politics or something else need to be added or something else ahead of us. Well, we hear this evening, and we'll share our views on some of the prevailing situations. But again, Mom, you are quite correct, my brother. So let's move on. I don't know if no in a social issue quickly, but I saw a little boy, I think 7 years old boy, who used a razor blade to cut off his penis. I don't know for what reason. And that's just the latest social news before coming on the show. Yeah, I think I said that happened in Mangibi. I don't know for what reason. I don't know, but
he gagged his penis, or he took the entire thing off, because I don't think
they may cut the entire thing, Mark.
Wow. He cut your structure. The possibility of him surviving is slim. I don't know if he's going to make it. And he did it to himself?
Yes, that's the information I was getting, that he used razor blade. I don't know, you were playing with the razor blade. This thing, I can still remember, Mark, they're saying that you don't sell razor blade, or you don't give razor blade to children. Yes.
My God.
I don't even know what kind
Maybe
of
he didn't buy it. Maybe he just picked it up from somewhere. I don't think someone would just sell a blade to him. I want to doubt it that someone would sell him a blade. Maybe it was some random blade lying somewhere and he might pick up. It's not impossible, but I think it's unlikely. I don't know the age range we are talking about here, but it's very uncommon. I mean, if you're going to use
7
blade,
years. 7 years.
Okay.
Yes.
Even when he attempted to use the blade, the pain alone would cause him to desist from going that far. But to cut your entire structure, man, I don't know. It's hard to say. We got to get more details about that. I don't want to rush to conclusion. I have no idea as to what's happening. But
Yeah,
so guys, we're almost 600.
Yes, so that's the social news for me. I felt so sad reading that news. In fact, coming across that social news this evening, maybe during the time of the show. I don't know how that happened, but I think this thing now will also. But most of the time, most of our laws, this one that even happened today, my brother, there's no precedent. There is no other way that our laws, that people will know that these laws are all effective, because I've been hearing that for ever so long. That you don't easily give razor blade or knife
Even scissors.
children.
You don't want scissors in the hands of kids because kids, they are always in the habit of experimenting. For them, the way their brain work, that's how they operate, especially for 9. When you're talking about anywhere between 7 to 11 or maybe 12, anything that they imagine, that's what they will do. For them, they are always experimenting. Somewhere that you'll be afraid or kid believe that they can jump because their mind comes with a clean slate. At certain time in life, that's how they operate. They just keep testing things. So when you have any sharp object, you don't want it near kids because you know they are going to experiment with those sharp objects. So you said it right. I don't know whether they were adults supervising or he did it somewhere in isolation. It's hard to say for now until we can get more details. But if you are a parent out there, make sure you don't have any sharp object around your young kids, especially like I said, between 6, let's say anywhere between 6 to 10 or 11. They always experimenting. That's just part of, it's not about the individual, it's just about human nature. At a certain point in life, you will do certain things. It's not about the kind of a training your parent will give you. It's just part of human nature that at that age, they will keep experimenting with new things. And it's not in your best interest to have any sharp object around. It's just not so okay. But anyway.
And you're right, or more quickly to even conclude on that, more you're right. That's why you see, even my little daughter, Millie, every time when she just step and beyond, then the mother will say, well, why you give? I said, no, because the little child, she don't even know what she's doing. And you're right.
They will always experiment.
Will be doing all kinds of things.
Even with pressing iron. When you're pressing with the iron, right? And for some reason you tilt the iron because usually when you press it, you tilt it so you can sit by itself. You can't leave it around kids because more definitely they will want to use it because they see you. They learn from observation and they keep experimenting things. So even if you're walking away for just a few minutes, you don't want to take that risk. Put that iron somewhere where they won't be able to reach it because more likely they will want to touch that iron and try to experiment and do exactly what they see you do with that clothes. That's just who they are. So it's not about.
And that's it. So you should sometimes because of that, Mom, even when there is fire, for example, because we usually use a coal pot. So that, for example, we will burn the head a coal pot so that she can know that there's heat and there's fire. So she already get that sense. But then she go near coal pot, no, it's hot, it's fire, because so Mom, you're right. You see these things, my brother, that's the fact. Some of us, that's what we do to our children, so that because the child born crippled, for example, and because of your negligence as parents, we lead a child to certain things. So I think Monk, you're right. The issue of razor blade now, even stores, if you go in some of these shops, they don't sell razor blade to children. So how the child manage to get razor blade?
Maybe not only sharp object, even flammable, any toxic substance. Maybe you got some kind of medication that is toxic, or maybe you get like a kerosene or matches. Anything that you believe can cause harm, you want to keep it away from that age group. You don't want to take chances with them because, like I said, they will keep experimenting until the end of the world. For them, they don't dress by when it comes to experimentation. They will keep testing things, and like I said, things that you would believe, because for you've been around for a long time, you know what works, what doesn't work. For them, they have to experiment to know. But not in all cases they need to experiment, because some of the experimentation can inflate danger on themselves, like what you just did with this 7-year-old or cutting himself. So that's why you just have to be constantly monitoring their movement and making sure nothing harmful is near them. You don't have to be sharp or not only knife or needles or matches, anything that you think can cause damage. You got to be out of their reach. Put it somewhere.
Thank you, more, because that also happened. I think that was maybe 2-3 days ago before, but you come on. I think the little child who also they said the child left, I think, in the water. You can imagine they all live, I don't know, some kind of water near near where they live. And because of the parent not paying attention, that little child, I think, between the age of 1 or either 1 or less than 1 year, that child had to crawl into that water and get drawn into the water.
Yeah.
Hey, my parents.
It happened right in my neighborhood. A guy left a kid, I think the picking was 5 or 6, and where they live, they got a pond, a little creek, but water is of good level.
Yeah.
And the picking just walked into it and he got drowned. I mean, that's who they are. Like I said, they will always experiment. So if you know you got the kids in that age range, you got to be very, very mindful. You got to be constantly monitoring their activities and make sure that nothing harmful is within reach. I guess what the most you can
Yes,
do.
but I think what say you, my dear brother, quickly before we transition, because today we're going to use all of our time today on the issue that will be discussed here this evening.
Yeah, good afternoon, Mom. Good afternoon, Mayborn. And good afternoon to everybody out there. Glad to be here this afternoon. Yes. Yeah, we can proceed.
All right, good. So maybe you don't have you don't want to chip in with the okay, but anyway, thank you, people. So yeah, so let's proceed today on today the Supreme Court on today sentence, or should we say send the most talked about prophet to 6 months imprisonment for what they call abusing or insults to the Chief Justice, murder, and that of the justices of the Supreme Court or that on the bench. So that after the ruling today, the Supreme Court finally ruled that Prophet Key go to jail for 6 months, and after that, he should also be able to apologize in 6 newspaper for his outburst against other people who quote unquote insulted by then into 6 newspaper for I think 4 to 5 days or 6 days, and also it should sign a bond of agreement that he will not do it anymore. So yeah, so at long last, the prophet is imprisoned, and there are a lot of mixed reactions out there, especially other people are supporting. Like yes, that's the best thing today. Justice have been served. Other people, mothers, fathers, uncles, brothers, and sisters that have been insulted by Prophet Key. At least at long last, today they have justice, especially the former president. So yes, so other people are celebrating, while other people are saying no, they're not the right thing to do. The Supreme Court, I think they go or maybe down low, or maybe they go down low because of having Prophet Key before them was not right, and so forth. There's so many national issues, so many issues that have to do with corruption. Why they are not paying attention to corruption, but paying attention to Prophet Key. Right? Well, my brother, so there where we are today with all of the happening that Prophet Key now, or in fact, for today on, he will be spending his first night at the Maneuver Central Prison, where he was taken to this afternoon, better state, to serve his 6 months imprisonment. So so far so good. These are some of the happening back home, especially when it comes to the issue of Prophet Key has been one of the trending national issues. Even though also today the Unity Party chairman, Reverend Luther Tapper, also makes some statement about opposition joining the Unity Party. That's the only time that they will get job. At least they'll be able to work. Or else when they not join, they will not work. So again, all of these things, my brother, we're back home, and our country is peaceful, Aisha. But there are so many things to talk about, so many things trending. But Prophet Key issue have become all of the day and topping the list of trending national issues.
Ali, you want me to go first, or you want lay the premise for today's discussion, or I should go?
Let me go because I can't hit the road.
All right.
The issue about Prophet Key, like I can't really understand, because they see Prophet Key, man. Today you see the Supreme Court coming to lay out everything that when it comes to freedom of speech and all of these articles, all these laws they are quoting today. Where were the Supreme Court yesterday when Prophet Key was insulting people in the country? These same people on the Supreme Court bench, they were there. That new people there, the same people were there. They see people on the Supreme Court bench where they see people, they were there when Judy Anning took Prophet Key over there, or Kushuben Keita went there quoting Kamara law, all of the laws, and Prophet Key was vindicated. Why today Kushuben Keita can go to quote this same law to make sure Prophet Key is being free? So I can understand these people how they go about doing things. You see too much contradiction in their thing they do. They are somehow like selective in doing their things. You people gave birth to Prophet Key. Like Prophet Key, I saw certain thing you were talking, oh, that today you're no cursing Nagu. Where were you people when I was cursing Jowiya man? Ali cursing to your brother Joseph Wakab to power that today you're no cursing Nagu. This was thing that he was doing. Instead of you putting stop to him that time, You were there supporting him, giving him money. You gave birth to everything Prophet Key did yesterday. And today, you're going to put him behind bars for 6 months for insulting. And for me, the only thing, the way in which they are doing it, but the attitude that Prophet Key, the behavior of insulting women, it is not good. Yes, it is not good. But just that they say, they see people that gave birth to him, that encourage him to do it, that they see people today putting him behind bars. They say, oh yes, what we supported you to do, you did it yesterday, it was good, but today it is not good. Yesterday it was good. Prophet Key insulted Junior Howard Taylor, Julie Annie Tappe, Claire Marie Weah, George Weah, and other people. The Unity Party celebrated him. And today they are in power. Prophet Key is doing the same thing to them. They coming to quote all of the laws to put him behind bars. Yesterday it was good. Today it is bad. Why? And this is why I can understand. Prophet Key insulting with me. Nobody in support of it. But you people gave birth to him. You people encourage it. And to even say that like Monk said yesterday, day before yesterday, to see the Supreme Court to take men the Prophet Key and carry it to the highest decision by making court in the country on insulting case or this kind of thing. It just shows how unserious our people are. Because I think you can take Prophet Key and carry it to Supreme Court to go judge such a case, causing Benu or whatsoever you're calling. You're sending him to the lower court, let him go and handle that thing there. But that's the bureau for us. Prophet Key going today to be behind bar for 6 months. After 6 months, when he come, will he continue or not? We don't know. But when they see Chief Justice, when Prophet Key insulted Joseph Waka, he were the vice president, all of these other people. Well, when they see Chief Justice, he didn't say anything. But because he reached to his door today, Prophet Key insulted his mother. And he said the entire justice system, everybody over there, they are all corrupt. Maybe that what touched him. I think that the insult, maybe he talk about that corruption, how corrupt they are. I believe that the one that touched him was not the insult, because they see Supreme Court Prophet Key was there for insulting Julie Annie, and you sat there with Kushube Keita King and quoted laws. You want to quote the same law that you quoted today. You want to quote that same law to Kushube Keita and make sure you put Prophet Key behind bar for insulting Julie Annie. But you sat down there, he quoted the law, you let him go. But today, you want to quote the law to put him behind bar. This is the deception and hypocrisy in these people. I can't understand. Anything you want to do, you're doing holistically. It shouldn't be done selectively. Prophet Key, are we supporting him for causing people? No, we are not in support of it. But can he own baby so that he them?
Well, thanks for laying the premise. That's the standard, that's the way, that's the angle people will see it from. In Liberia, the politics will always consume everything. Everything you see through the lenses of CDC and Unity Party is the El Clasico. For us, I'm not looking at it from the party level. I'm just looking at it from the Supreme Court. Like I said, either way the case go, the outcome, Prophet Key is still the winner. The fact that he was given national attention, it makes him the winner. The fact that the highest court in the land will give Prophet Key audience, the full bench, he's already the winner. One thing here is this precedent, because at the end of the day, what they are literally telling you is the day you go on a rent, they can use their power, even though there are no laws. We got 3 separate branches of government. That's why we have lawmakers. When you want to make society better, apart from the president and the executive branch, we got lawmaker. Lawmaker codifies law. And when you want to prosecute people, the Supreme Court is given the authority to interpret constitutional matter. There is nothing in the Constitution about insults. I'm not here to glorify Prophet Key. I don't support him. I would never support him. I don't want any one of my child or my children growing up insulting women with derogatory comment. I understand that. Matter of fact, it's unacceptable in society, traditional society like Liberia. But when you want to hide behind the Constitution, when you want to be a dictator wearing a black robe in the name of freedom of speech, then it won't fly with some of us, because I know you are setting a dangerous precedent from a legal standpoint. There are no laws, there are no statutes nationwide to say, yes, what Prophet Key does is inappropriate. But things that are inappropriate are not also illegal. You seen the difference? Yeah, you can make the case. Prophet Key is rule. Yeah, in the court of public opinion, if I ask 1,000 Liberians, 998 will say no, it's not okay for a man to insult women. Most especially we're talking about causing people murder. But the question is, there are no laws on the book that will warrant you a Supreme Court judge putting Prophet Key behind bars for 6 months based on what kind of law? Which law are you interpreting? First of all, this Supreme Court Chief Justice, I think he, at a certain point, I think he kind of vindicate Prophet Key when Prophet Key said you are corrupt. Because first of all, when you watch the first session when they met, he said it was a procedural exercise. That it was not about content. In his own statement, when he described Prophet Key as a social media personality and someone who is a self-styled prophet, that the label he placed on Prophet Key, and he said it was a procedural exercise. I listened to him live. And now, when you talk about procedural exercise, you're talking about something that is educational, something that is an interactive kind of meeting, or maybe an appeal or discovery in a legal term. But then, in the same setting, he said Prophet Key should come to court and prove why he shouldn't be held in contempt. Are you serious? If you are telling me Prophet Key should come to court and give reason why he shouldn't be prosecuted, then you are literally telling me that he's already guilty before you can use that charge him with a crime. It's almost like, show me the man and I will find you the crime. The whole thing here, no matter how you look it up, this man just want to wield power. He want to prove to Prophet Key that I have an authority in this country. I can use my office. I can have beyond the black robe and the Constitution to abuse you individually. I don't know whether he puppeteers are somewhere pulling the screen. I don't want to go into that. But there are no legal justification for Prophet Key going beyond bar. Whether you are from Unity Party, whether you are from the ANC, whether you are from CDC, that's a lie. This whole idea that Prophet Key committed, okay, two aspects to it. He said he used some derogatory comment, he insulted your mother. Why about the corruption aspect? Every single international report from Liberia said that our judicial system is corrupt to the core, including your own U.S. embassy. Why you don't hold them to the court to come and prosecute them for tarnishing the reputation of the Supreme Court and undermining their credibility? Why you cannot bring them to court? So I know there will always be the political side of it, and there are people that will be there, they will play defense. I am just telling you, there's a dangerous precedent that is being set for the future. I mean, it might be Prophet Key today, but I know it will be someone tomorrow. So one day, if you are in Liberia and you just get up, you start renting, they will call you and put you in jail as well. The question is based on which law, which article or provision of the Constitution that Supreme Court Chief Justice is telling me by which he's prosecuting Prophet Key. Now, if you want to make an argument also, when you want to think further than that, like I said, based on what? You cannot tell me, say, Prophet Key's statement induce any lawless action or violence to say, okay, I can get him on on an incitement basis. You cannot even make the case for defamation because the court, we all know the court is corrupt. It's a national consensus. Everyone in Liberia, the court is corrupt. Recently, even I think it was one of them, was it Mo Ali or Delon, about even the land purchase, how people can go to some justices and pay money to have land manipulation when it comes to deed and legal documentation. Who in Liberia doesn't know that you guys are corrupt? The question is, if you are prosecuting Prophet Key based on what? Show up the constitutional requirement. He didn't commit fraud or perjury. He never violated intellectual property. No defamation, what you can call it, libel or slander. No. So my thing here is, which precedent are you setting for the future? And the same women, because I know women support Prophet Key more than even us men, because from day one, I don't even like his style. I don't know how you want to become popular, or you want name recognition at the expense of insulting honor women. But yet, these same women, both locally and internationally, you guys are the one that supported Prophet Key. And you are the one clapping to the, no more man cause. Are you serious? You guys were the one that brought into prominence when men all over the internet were telling you this is the wrong way to go. But by then, it was Georgia. So it was okay. If Joseph Boaga can support Prophet Key, how can a man who Joseph Boaga appoints, because we don't vote for Supreme Court Chief Justice, he was appointed by Joseph Boaga, how can he be on the total opposite of Joseph Boaga when it comes to insult and man cause? Are you serious? But that's the country for you. You know, sometimes, maybe, that's why I say Liberia has no future. Because sometimes the people who you believe to be educated, who supposed to know better, when you see them making decisions, you will question yourself and be like, no, I don't see a future in this country, because the people who are not educated, I don't expect them to make any better decision, because the ones that came to go to school, and they are all sitting there, they call themselves lawyers, they're listening to this whole thing. This illegal power grabbing prosecution of Prophet Key, they're there, and nobody can
keep the Supreme Court Chief Justice in check. What you are doing, you are under wielding power. There are no legal basis. Matter of fact, it's an abuse of the Constitution when you try to create laws on the go, because there are no provisions you can cite by which Prophet Key violated. So if you are making law, you are now a lawmaker, you are a Supreme Court Chief Justice. You were never given a constitutional authority to make laws on the go. You are there to interpret constitutional matter. So if you cannot make an argument on the issue of incitement, if you cannot make a defamation case, fraud or perjury, if you cannot tell me Prophet Key violated intellectual property, my cause is not enough reason to put him beyond bar. And I stand with my position. Maybe some lawyer call the show to let him make the legal argument. I don't know.
Prophet Key only place behind bar because Prophet Key say those people, they are corrupt. That's all that one got to them. So they just want to tie it to all the insult Prophet Key may carry on. Because you talk about that corrupt attitude, I think that one hold them. That's the only thing. But to say that for insult, we are not supporting Prophet Key when it comes to insulting people. We been against this from day one, and we never support that. Nobody going to support that. Everybody know we have women, we have mothers, we have children, we have sisters. To see somebody always denigrating women, insulting them, and say that how you advocating for people. No, that's not advocacy. You see, nobody is supporting him for that. But these people, they get tell, it is because of that they putting Prophet Key behind back. Because they said they are corrupt. That's why they carry him for. Because they say you should prove it.
Aliu, you know what? They said the instance you just mentioned is exactly why it is. He understands that what Prophet Key does is unacceptable on a national level. Like I said, in our culture, I mean, the way we were brought up, it's not even appropriate for men to even insult women. Let's talk about going to the kind of for extreme level when it comes to insult. He understood the fact that the vast majority will side with him. So you are prosecuting Prophet Key based on the issue of Muslim tradition. But then why you want to cite freedom of speech or freedom of expression? That's a lie. So you are playing games with the law. That's exactly what's happening. Like I said, I would not support Prophet Key any single day of the week when it comes to insulting women. But the question is, what precedent is the Supreme Court setting up for the future? I know some of y'all will be feeling like always, y'all always got to play, y'all got to think with your heart instead of the head anyway. Y'all will be like, oh, because he did it to sedition. Okay. The question is, I'm not looking at that. I could care less about the politics. I'm just talking about the precedent. So who becomes the next Prophet Key? You are telling me anyone can just summon you at the Supreme Court and claim that you insulted their parent or their mother and you're supposed to be going to jail, right? Is that why you want to tell me?
So
you don't have any laws that you can just use. You can just make up laws on the go because you are a Supreme Court justice or because you are a puppet being controlled from behind the scene. You can just put anyone behind bar because you don't like their views or their opinion or maybe their insult. Even the great president of the United States, people insulting all the time. So the question is, which legal basis? That's why I just want to understand which constitutional legal basis is this Supreme Court Chief Justice telling us? And what?
So Mark, to that quickly before I even give you maybe some article or maybe some of the some of the places that maybe that they use to punish Prophet Key. Let me respectfully disagree on some of the things that you say or that you said not too long, because we don't want to be like, oh yeah, I don't like some of the other disclaimer that you just made that you are now 100% in support of Prophet Key behavior, and that's just it. We can talk about our agreement about national issues, about things that are happening back to back. But when it comes to people behavior, I think they should be held accountable for their own behavior. Sometimes the way they proceed, the way they do things. I'll say yes, somebody. She already read out the in front of me. See how bad the father girl also she here already up. So more quickly, if you go to Article 15 of the 1986 Constitution, you will also see about freedom of speech, freedom of expression, and so forth, all the kind of things. But then I go back to the penal law, Title 26 of the Liberian Codes Revised. That talk about all of these things, right? That you can't, because mind you, the police, like I think that was on Tuesday, I said something that I want to. No, I think that on one of our sister show, disorderly conduct. You know that the police always arresting people and jailing most of our citizens for disorderly conduct. I don't know whether you know about that, but they always do that here in Liberia.
Maybe I don't want to cut you off when you're talking about penal code and other state statutes. when you want to talk about this thing, I hope you can cite them so people can understand where we're coming from, because this is nothing new. Like I said, I'm not here to play defense for Prophet Key, but when you want to cite a pin and code, then you got to be very specific so we can look it up and see exactly what it says when it comes to insult and derogatory comment, most especially towards women.
All right. So the penal law, Title 26 of the Liberian Code reverse such acts are prosecuted on status related to criminal defamation, harassment, or disorderly conduct when they injure others or disrupt public peace. So people can be punished. Like I was just talking about disorderly conduct. People can be punished for disorderly conduct. Sometimes maybe harassing a community, making a community to look like maybe something is happening, or maybe disturbing a community or peace. So people can be arrested for that. That's just something I want to say. I hope that you get it right.
Maybe I understand where you are going. Anyway, says yeah, welcome to the show. We're going by. We'll circle back to you, maybe. Let's say yeah, introduce yourself and make our input.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. Good afternoon to my fellow Liberians in the diaspora, my brothers and sisters, my fellow Liberian in the United States. Good afternoon to Alio, to Monk, and to Melbourne. It's good to be here. And I think I'm kind of asking the same question Among is asking, not to, how you call it. I like to talk to Melbourne myself. I want to ask, when we talk about the perimeter of what insult is in Liberia, I like a definition of that. I'd like to also know, is it about the insult, or is it about the question about the integrity or the corruption? I'd like to know that. So let me stop here. Then we can continue.
Yes, thank you. So I think on the charge sheet, I don't think they were more concerned about the issue of alleged corruption. I don't think that was their concern. I think their concern had to do with the way Prophet Key behaved, the way he insult people, you know, and so forth. I think that was a major concern. People are right. That was a major concern. So more quickly, you have the legal basis, persecution for defense, or maybe offensive speech rather, and rooted in the penal law, limitation on free speech. We have contempt, public insult or invectives in of government officials, particularly the judiciary example. The Chief Justice can lead to charges of contempt. I think that from this basis, there where they have Prophet Key arrested and or maybe or in fact punished, and they have a change. But again, quickly, more before I bring our mind, let me be frank. For me, I don't want, for me personally, I think Prophet Key been doing all of these things for ever so long, even to the extent that even our social media is toxic, our radio stations, our media, both media everywhere is toxic. So for me, from all indications, for me, I think this is a precedent. And how the precedent can be set at the government, because even the Ministry of Information is also another place of insults. So I don't know how that's going to play, but for me, I support this offense 100%, and I think I stand by the ruling on today. Man, you can come in and go ahead.
Oh,
so you tell me, yes.
Yes, I'm here. Ahead. I'm here. I think Tawan Gonklo wrote today. I'm more concerned. I'm concerned. I like to read the whole transcript. I think to some degree I understand the flow of judicial process to some degree. But I like to know, because here it is though. Even me, Prophet Steve, have cussed me before. Okay. When President Bouaka sent money to Prophet Key as he insulted other opposition, including the second president, the wife, the mother, okay, and literally every mother in Liberia. Okay. Nothing happened. Not too long ago, he insulted, I think, the senator from Nima County. Right, in fact, before he did that insult, he met with the vice president and took picture with him. Okay. Thereafter, he met with the president, the sitting president, and took picture with him. He even came online and said, when Julie took him to court, okay, Julie is a Liberian mother. She has been the culture ambassador that held up our culture since the days of Taylor, okay? And all these people were praising him. Prophet Key were allowed to go register to run. My question is, and we said the Camara case, right? There have been precedent before that the president has said. So does this, because now with this ruling now will override the Camara law? So I just want to know, because the penal law that Temwa quoted here, that penal law says that, according to the penal law, it says that you cannot threaten the judiciary. It's only to the judiciary. You cannot use vulgarity. What's the definition of vulgarity? Because I live in a country where FU is a commonplace. Like Monk just said, we copy our law literally from the American law. If you turn on your Facebook right now, you will hear people calling Trump all the name and above and beyond. This is not just Trump. And they say it's free speech. The only thing you can't do, you can't threaten the president. You can't threaten your fellow citizen, because that's a threat, especially when you're threatening people's lives, okay? And I'm going to bring myself in, although this is not about me. Not too long ago, Mike Jabate threatened to put bullet in my head. And literally a week later, he got appointed as a minister, assisting deputy, whatever, but as a minister. We've seen a woman sat on spoon and insulted Alexander Cummings. Tried to emasculate him because she can't, okay? She gets appointed, all right? Daniel Sando, this is what he does. He insults literally everybody. So I want to know, what is the definition of vulgarity that we are talking about? Why the Supreme Court is above the law? Because according to Article 2 of the Constitution, it says absolutely no one is above the law. The law is absolute. They cannot be above it. So that's what I like to know. That's my today. I'm all in the quest of question. Let me tell you something. I don't condone Prophet Key. Okay? People need to understand that. I do not believe people need to spray women body part out and dig inside. But I also believe, is this also more than, and I want to understand, if this can be fast track, why are our children being raped and there's no room for justice to be served? So for me, my question got three pieces. Why there's not a fast track for the War and Economic Crimes Court for people to have justice and stabilize the country? Why there's no fast track for criminals and corruption, okay, and rape in Liberia? So, when you're the one in Liberia, please help us here, Omen. I'm going to stop here. Alio and Brazilian, I'm here today. I'm not here today to elaborate. I'm here to ask questions. So
I know, right? You really want to know where this thing is going, because, like I said, all the penal codes they are citing, they are all vague. The thing is, nobody's saying because you have a freedom of speech, you can just go on a rant. Because freedom of speech is also guarded by certain principles. Like I said, if it's not inciting lawless violence, whether it's about defamation, whether it's about perjury, whether it's about intellectual property, if it cannot meet those conditions, by we stand up. The last time I checked, one of the men that worked in Joseph Boy's government, I think he and Prophet the same kind of man cost. Anthony Chesley. You can yes. I got tons of screenshots of him insulting women, and there's a man that worked directly with the president. So I want to know the president, but we basically are president, because you can't tell me say that penal code 17.3. No, all the statement in that penal code is vague and open-ended. I want to see the specific provision that will hold Prophet Key liable for going behind bars for 6 months. You can't tell me because he call you criminal. No, we know that the Supreme Court is corrupt. That's a consensus amongst all Liberians. So every international report that came out of Liberia question your credibility, even business assessment, that your criminal justice system is broken. Matter of fact, your former Supreme Court Chief Justice, she just made it explicitly clear to everyone anyway, when they were requesting for money in the budget. We're talking about how the president, the people from the executive, the lawmakers can go and change budget figure. We all know. You don't have regard for the Constitution. I just want to know, like I said, this is nothing but a power grab. There's a man who wants to show Prophet Key individually that he's powerful. And like I said, it's more of the precedent. It's not about Prophet Key action. We will never support Prophet Key action on this platform. Never, ever. I'll pray and hope that none of my child or children, if I will have children in the future, will be able to insult women in such a manner. But the question is, on which basis is he being prosecuted? While we are ignoring the criminal aspect, You telling me now man cause take precedent over all the major issue? Like what I say, if you believe it's penal code, why you didn't use a local magistrate? Because it's going to be applicable, it's going to be universal. Why it only apply to perfect key? Why you should bring it to the Supreme Court? No, he brought it to the Supreme Court to intimidate perfect key. Because if it's a penal code law or local magistrate can execute that law, or circuit court can do it, but he chose the Supreme Court because it was a correction strategy. He wanted to punish perfect key, and I can tell you for sure, I know there are bigger hands behind it. He didn't do it unilaterally. Some people that got personal issue with perfect key want to use the court in the name of the protecting freedom of speech. That's a lie. That's a power grab. That's a constitutional abuse, because you can make all your argument about penal code law, like saying it. The statement or the sentences or words in your so-called penal code 17.315, no, they are vague and open-ended, because if it had not been the case, we would have seen more people behind bar based on the law that on the book. But no, Prophet Key was targeted. That's why he lied to us from the initial stage, your chief justice, that there was a procedural exercise, when in fact he already convicted Prophet Key before Prophet Key could even sit before the bench. That's exactly what happened here. Nobody can do fool there, my brother, with penal code law. No. Supreme Court, now they want to be executing penal code law. Local magistrate can do it. As a law, is universal.
Wonderful, more. Thank you, man. I was just enjoying the entire broadcast. Behind the scene, we have some technical issues, but that's just so magnificent. I think we got a request about maybe the kind of law that they use, the kind of system they use to set the precedent. Because, like you just said not too long, we have some government officials that also that are set by the president day to day. The people they are seeing also on the internet insulting back to back. So moving forward now, can we now say that, okay, yes, we're going to report all of the cases and have the people persecuted? Because for me, that's why today, Mark, if you see me, my physical expression, I'm happy, because I think we have to graduate from doing politics of insult to politics of discussion, because that will also be good for our society. We can be discussing issues of national concern, then just feel group approach, just come and monitor the entire water, insult people, and do whatever thing that they want to do. So again, that there were some of us, there where we stand, and we hope and pray that you just said not too long, because there are other government officials, even including the Ministry of Information, that people have been accused for ever so long of insulting people and having their own time of doing whatsoever thing that they want to do. So the precedent has been set. What can we now do? Says Cindy, what would be your call? What's the way forward now for our society? Because for me, all of the order and putting now will be doing, will just be there. They are already passed. But Key already come and spend the first night in prison. Now,
hold on 1 second. I'll give you more time so you can elaborate further. You're the only female on this show, so you always get first preference. I want to remind you about one point. It was the main reason that other lawyers shy away from the case, because it's unprecedented. You know, not too many lawyers want to go and stand before a Supreme Court, because that's the highest court in the land. That's why I'm saying, if it was a penal law, it means it would have been universal. There are a lot of people that who have been the president who have been set on, but no. Prophet Key was targeted. That's why your chief justice brought him before the full bench to intimidate other lawyers and people that would try to defend him in the name of the law. But says, yeah, you can take it from there and go ahead. I just want to remind you about that point.
I'm gonna. Thank you so much, Mamong, and I really appreciate that. You make me feel ancient that I'm the Wonder Woman. But that's good. I love the process. One thing though, maybe because I have traveled, because I've seen other functioning society and a functional society and want to be functional society. I see things from different lens per se, or different prisons per se, because I'm not looking at the now. I'm looking at in the long run, okay? I know it's good. We don't want nobody to say you mind this, you mind that. Those are words that my kids are like, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. They can disagree with you and don't have to even answer you, all right? But the confusion says the strength of the nation, okay, depends on the integrity of the home, all right? The way we are respected abroad is how we act at home. So they say here, based on this particular Penal Code 17.3, you cannot criticize the government, not just the government, the Supreme Court, because we didn't elect the Supreme Court. Okay, in the United States, a minimum, the Supreme Court is appointed. But the local judiciary or the municipals, okay, the magistrate, we first have to elect you. We elect you. The people have to believe you and elect you. You can be practicing for 500 years. The people have not elected you. Maybe the president will not tap into you, but you have to be somebody who have record of service and, you know, and integrity. You are saying in this particular court proceeding that you can't use vulgarity. Every country have their definition what vulgarity is. My descriptive now could be considered this, what do you call it, vulgarity. Where does that leave me? That's the question I'm asking. Okay, now, what I need all of us to understand is this law overruled the last law that was passed, the Camara law, that talk about free speech during we are time. So I want us to understand this. So we cannot play with our law based on who is insulted, who is undermined, who character is criticized, because they say you can't criticize them. Okay, so I'm thinking there's a bigger hand. But another question is, I know other people will say people have taken the case directly to the Supreme Court. My question is, how does jurisdiction work in Liberia? Where is the justice of the peace if he was somewhere else? Where are the county court? Where are the district courts? Before we're going over to the Supreme Court, okay? The Supreme Court cleared the docket or cleared the calendar to call Prophet Key in. Yeah, this is a threatening issue. So it's almost 10,000, because the last I checked, there were over before we are left, almost 7,000 cases of rape cases that were pending. And St. Boaka came in just last year alone, had almost 4,000 rape cases. So we can say maybe about 1,500 rape cases. I'm just projecting. It may be wrong. Okay, I don't have the actual number because they don't publish it. I can go to my website in Gwinnett County and say how many rape cases there are, how many have gone through the court, how many people on what do you call it, rape registry. I can find that, so I have data and statistics. Here we assume. So maybe when you are there, because I don't want to make any declaration. I'm looking at the long run, just among this thing thinking, I'm thinking, what happens tomorrow? What happened with somebody like me? We challenge people, all right? If we say Liberia is plagued with corruption, even the current president has said corruption is the reason that Liberia is this. So who are those that are in charge of the country that are corrupt? Because it has to be the leadership. But then you're telling me in this particular 17.3, so we are putting our foot in our own mouth. You are saying y'all can see us come from nowhere, living a zinc shop, eating la pati bidor, and walk to the bank the moment we get appointed and take loan and not pay back. We can take the money and divide it. You don't have right to say that I stole the money. That's what you're saying. So for me, this is where I'm coming from. It has nothing to do with Prophet Key. Listen, when things are happening, we have to look beyond. There's a case in this country, it's a precedent in the country, the Dred Scott case during the slavery and free state and slave state, okay? His case opened the door, but it did not close it. Some other case opened it. Brown was the board. So I want to know from the Liberian people, if you have got lawyers in Liberia, Major Bond, look for some lawyers to bring them so they can explain to us the perimeter. Because the thing too is there's no civil education in Liberia going on. In my state and all over America, by the time you get to 8th grade, you learn something called civic in respect to behavior. We have delinquent and we have unruly. Okay, if you're delinquent, means you commit crime, and those crimes are listed that the case have to learn because they're going. They're coming from their like 12, 13. They're about to be 14, and within that range, depending on what kind of crime they commit, they can be considered adult, or they can be considered juvenile. They need to understand that. 2, like escaping a house during school hour where you're out in the middle of the street in America is unruly, okay? You can be arrested and they can bring your parents. In Liberia, a 16, a 12, or 9-year-old child can go to a club and be drinking. You can't do nothing about it. The police cannot report them. So I want to know the difference. That's all I want to know today.
Maybe, are you guys taking a break, or you guys giving all the 15 minutes today for this topic? Check out your people.
Then we got to go for the break because the news team, the guys already here with us.
All right. Then. All right. We'll be back in 15 minutes then. Maybe when you found something for our audience to be listening to, and they will get back, please.
Yes.
Moreover, Central Prison, as you are aware, Prophet Kid was escorted by a school of police officers, and he currently in the compound of the Moreover Central Prison. The Supreme Court of Liberia sentenced him for 6 months in prison, and after that, he been ordered to do a written communications that will be published in several newspaper. It will be published in several newspaper. There is his vehicle and his wife is now leaving the compound. They are booing her. Schools of Liberians here are booing the wife of Prophet Key. They are chanting battle cry behind her, calling her woman woman. So the police is putting stop to them, telling them to stop and not continue what they are doing. So the vehicle left already, but you still have Liberians out here with different views, different perceptions, different thinking, different thoughts about this entire situation. Some are terming this as a complete victory for justice, particularly to women, while others are terming it in different forms and manner. I listened to one person who said the Chief Justice been here before. What did he do? That now he wants to leverage all his anger on Prophet Key, while others are saying we are now happy that after this 6-month jail sentence, he will definitely change from one point to another. We saw how he was apologizing, and we heard the different narrations of how he promised to change after the 6-month jail sentence. So that's it for. My name is Melvin Jackson. I'm a standard Nesikole, Jurassic Joe, the crew member here. We started from the Temple of Justice. Now we are live here, who are making sure that this place quiet and not violent scene. So thank you. So Baraki was held in contempt of court, as we reported to you. He was held in contempt of court by the Honorable Supreme Court of Liberia. Though there were several things later, a couple of months then is the inventives ran on the mother of the Chief Justice and the Chief Justice and member of the bench, while on the other hand, in one of his podcasts, he leveraged the entire bench as being corrupt. He said the judicial is corrupt and that they are involved in so many dubious acts, and he was waiting to expose him. He was waiting to say what needed to be said. So on these different grounds, they court started him, and when he came for the first day, which was on Tuesday, he informed the court that he did not have a lawyer. So based on that, in the aspect of due process, the court needed to adhere to that portion of the law that covers due process, that the person accused has the right to their own lawyer of their choosing, or the court should be in a position using the Office of the Public Defense to provide that accused a lawyer. So the public defense president and the coordinator were provided or appointed by the bench to represent his legal interests. At that point, folks, the lawyers took him at their own offices. They did an inquiry, and then they built a case theory. They did a brief that was filed before the court. While they were representing him, you had those who consider as a miscreant. They call them the friends of the court. Now, I appointed by the court because you know the justices won't sit in the bar to represent themselves. So they appoint those they consider as friends of the court. So you have the former Associate Justice Rick's right. And you also have the county attorney, Richard Scott, serving as the miscreant. That means friends of the court. So after the build case story, that is the Prophet Key lawyers, on Thursday, which was yesterday, they came before the court and made it clear to the court that our client have asked us to inform you, your honors, that he's guilty, he's sorry for his actions, and that he cannot account for what he has done. So he's appealing to you all. There's something according to them that he informed them that it was not out of emotions and also out of frustrations. So based on the request from his lawyers, and what they did was, according to them, they said, okay, now that you are saying you are sorry, it shouldn't just be made, very sorry, but we will need you to have that as a written documentations that we can hold far to, and that after here you will be able now a total achievement, but at some level, not stopping you from carrying out your social media coverages or whatever it is, as you refer to yourself as influencer, but we need you to be at some level, as understand. So he did the written communications to the court, his lawyer, and then he was also giving the opportunity to speak on his behalf. So you see, the vehicle number one is leaving already. You also have vehicle number two that brought Prophet Key. This is the vehicle Prophet Key was riding on. So you see a living as well. Police disembarking the scene. So Prophet Key is now a prisoner here at the Morel Central Prison. He's now a prisoner here. His name has been catalogued. His photo has been taken, and every record taken on him. He is now a prisoner. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so kindly for watching Spoon TV. My name is Melvin Jackson. You have Damon Slander and Nelson Kule, all here, making sure that we bring you this live broadcast from day one up to today. That in the end, you have us going that route from one point to another. So that's it. So, folks, when Prophet Key was given the opportunity to speak to the court, he informed me, okay, this is the Deputy Marshal of the Honorable Supreme Court of Liberia. We see him with a fire. So,
what was that? What was that? My friend is in there now. In there now. What can you tell my friend people? Where? Racing compass. Says what? All right. Jeans, the click. This is the click. Okay, Deputy Marshal. He's a Deputy Marshal, you know. Deputy Marshal.
So, folks, thank you.
We want see no more Marcus. 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 We want see no more Marcus.
So why you so happy like that? Celebration here for women.
We want see no more Marcus. 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 We want see no more Marcus.
So ma'am, if you're the judge for today's case, Jubilation here. Celebration ensued as the prophet finally goes to prison for 6 months. For 6 months, and the prophet goes to jail for 6 months. It's a celebration here. Celebration has ensued as the prophet finally goes to jail, and we are coming to you from the Monrovia Central Prison outside of the Central Monrovia here, where you see women celebrating. They wanted this moment, and they have had this moment. They have had the movement. Prophet Key is finally behind bars. Prophet Key is finally behind bars, and the women are expressing excitement that the prophet will spend 6 months behind bars. 6 months behind bars. They are still celebrating. When we were coming along the way in a pickup, the women they were celebrating. So you happy that the prophet going to jail? You want to die in jail?
You get money, you get children, you get children. They disgracing with me.
But his brother being along with him all along trying to start that in my
She woman, she big. That woman are big. But we say what to do, we say what to do for what all we have in the past. So therefore we are arrested because for everything you different with all my table. Then we tell what to do one by one. Who are just to destroy the country? There will be people to see.
Celebration still going on here. Celebration still going on. Yeah. The women, all of women. So you want the prophet to stay in jail?
So the full reminder here that you've been doing it to a lot of people, the former president, the former first lady, the current president, he has been doing it with a lot of people. Do you think that this is a deep day yet today, a celebration yet today?
Yeah. Y'all want to see him. The poor hanger on the mat.
Yes, Mark, so we're back after the news bulletin. It's probably about 17 minutes past 7. That's the time check. So let's continue with our discussion. These are some of the mixed reactions I think from the public there today during the activities of the imprisonment of Prophet Key today at the Maneuver Central Prison. I think those of you who are watching or who've been watching, I think you are seeing the mixed reactions from our citizens, our mothers, our sisters, and that of the young women. I've also seen people commenting about young children. Yes, children also listen, children also follow, and because we live in the modern world. But Mark, I'll say you see, and that Brother Ali will back.
Well, for me, I'm not going. Says Yago, you know, I made a mistake. Sorry.
Let's start with. I want to hear from the man perspective. Let me hear Brother Leo. If he's there, or you can go.
Ali is busy, maybe. Well, maybe I'm not going to mince my word. I say exactly what I say. I say it's a power grab. It's an abuse of your constitution, and it's a Supreme Court Chief Justice that want to settle score with Prophet Key. Because when you even look at a ruling, the reason they couldn't come up with the whole thing about free speech, because he knows he cannot get Prophet Key on free speech. So he makes it up with undermining the credibility of the court. No, that's a lie. The only reason you are mad Prophet Key because your mom. But he been causing people murder, and you say it's a penal code law, but your penal code law is vague. You cannot get him on anything. Look, if Prophet Key has someone, the first thing, even like I think I talked to Chairman today, he's going to call, I will open the line. The first thing Prophet Key should say, you know what, I will even say call for the Supreme Court Chief Judge to recuse himself. Because you cannot be the one prosecuting me and be the one making up stories against me or making up crimes against me. Then we're going to see whether I'm going to take the case after the Supreme Court, because I know you take cases from lower level before you reach to the Supreme Court. But in this case, because he wanted to intimidate Prophet Key, he brought him before the full bench. If our Prophet Key, I say, you know what, I know I will go to jail, but you must recuse yourself before I can even say a word in this court. He never did that. That was the biggest mistake on his part. And those women are seeing this video, you know, we are hypocritical, you know, our people. That's why I don't have any optimism about Liberia future when it comes to politics. These same people, like I said, all the women that raise money for the car that he drives, the clothes that he wears, they sell t-shirts in America. When you go on Prophet Key Live, you don't see too many men. Why? Because men don't stand for that nonsense. These same women, they were one giving 2,000 views, 1,800 views on any podcast. They were the one there. So this thing is not about penal code law, it's not about Prophet Key or the Constitution. No, that judge or that Supreme Court Chief Justice, like I said, he wants to settle score. But before I can switch what to say, I see that one Jabo says something about we talk about precedent. See that one Jabo say, and I agree with him. The next person will be Yeke Koluba. Because understand that politics here, they know we all will not cause man cause, but we criticize this government. So the precedent here is that even when you criticize the government now, the Supreme Court can summon you to prosecute you. And who, in terms of language, is much closer to Prophet Key? Yeke Koluba. So they are preempting your mind. They are planting the seed so that when they go for Yeke, you will accept it because you say, what? They did the Prophet Key. So it's also applicable to Yeke, when in fact they are cherry picking. Because like I said, if it was a penal code law that we have followed, then it means there would have been a lot of people behind bars today. These are the only cause, man, because even when you question the credibility of the judicial system, it's a crime. That's why the Chief Justice is telling us that just criticizing the judiciary bring me, you have already committed a crime and you should be in jail. That's the precedent they are setting, using Prophet Key as an example, and he just a decoy to target other people. So be on the lookout for Yeke Koluba as well. I just want to make that point. And you see that one Jebo said it right.
Siba Jabo, thank you so much for your word. Let me come here. So in 2019, formally there was an enactment for the Camara A law. Okay, that Camara A law it was mostly towards press freedom. What you just did, those of you who are journalists and you're thinking and dancing, this target you guys mostly. Okay. Because you are supposed to be the voices of the people. You're supposed to be the one investigating. You're the one who's supposed to find out what is happening in and around the country. For instance, like what went down in the King Joy, and you people reported it. So this target all of you guys, okay? It said it was what understood as press freedom and freedom of expression reform law. In simple terms, the law does the following thing: decriminalization of certain speech offenses. The law removes criminal penalties for what? Criminal libel, which will be defamation per se, sedition, like for instance, when the guy Minipaka Dumont took the gun that time and say he would do this, he would do that. It was us, the CUP, the CPP, that stood up and called we are out and say that his freedom of expression, right? Maybe you remember that?
Yes, indeed.
Oh, Ali,
yeah, where we're going, gradually.
Right? Yes, exactly. So we said the international community deemed that particular law, the Camara law, that say a modernized Liberian democracy and align it with the rest of the democracy in the world, per se, based on that. Now, what we've gone now, we are undone it because we just undo it. Okay. Now I see the Liberian women who screaming and carry on. Prophet Key now caused me before. And so I'm saying to y'all, okay, and people that I care about, he had insulted before, he had tried to emasculate them. We know that. All of us, I don't agree with them. I was not taught to use when I was growing up. Even if you told my older sister, my sibling, you lie, I would get slapped somewhere. All of us, a normal time, that's the way it was. We don't use this word. We didn't hear those words. Now, like Monk said, this, and I see Joe Lobo, they're already posting that Yeke is next. That is the target. Now, remember, it's not just using the woman anonymity. It's also, if you say the judiciary is corrupt, that is a crime now, according to this law. Okay? According to this law. Even y'all, for y'all the journalists. So y'all will be going to jail plenty.
Yep.
Okay? So, you see, like I said, I like the law way beyond what's here. You got to see what's in the shadow. That's what in literature we call it foreshadowing. Like let's say you're watching a horror movie. Before the killer shows up, what happens? You hear sounds, you hear darkness, or you see smoke coming. So I'm looking and seeing the smoke. Now what is happening right here in front of me? So I'm going to stop here, Melbourne.
Yes, thank you. We have Brother AB here also on the show here this evening. I wanted to chip him. Yeah, Brother AB, good evening and welcome. Morning, afternoon. What's up? How everything?
Yeah, good afternoon from my end, Bibo. And let me say good afternoon to Mong and my dear sister, Cindy. I've been following intermittently. I had to go for prayer, but this topic is so fascinating that I just wanted to have my take on it. I know a lot has been said by you guys already. I hope I will not be taking your back on issues. But the situation in Liberia, first, just for clarification, I can never endorse or support vulgarity of any nature. My upbringing, my religious background, and everything would not allow me even to sanction anything of those nature. But we are talking about the democracy and the freedom of speech in that nation. You know, I think Yassine stated early on, taking a man to court, the highest court, where he has no opportunity for an appeal. And literally he was coerced to even extend apology. The fact that you utter an apology, it automatically concludes that you are guilty of a crime.
Yep.
So you got nothing else to say. So that's how he was coerced into it. And to the point that lawyers, in fact, the lawyers that were given him, I think that was what he was advised to do. Where next he goes for redress? Because if this was a lower case, then you say, "Oh yes, I would go to the Supreme Court and to take an appeal." But why can't he take an appeal?
Brother Eddie,
Yeah,
let me just tell you something. No lawyer will take his case to begin with. No lawyer.
There were I'm driving at. Because the system in that place has been set up in a way that if no lawyer wants to go against the Supreme Court bench, and even if you got a legitimate case, the fact that the Supreme Court Chief Justice will utter something, so they may insult me, automatically it gives any lawyer the pause to say, you know what, I can't pick up the case because I'm fighting the Chief Justice. But this is not a good thing for the democracy, because granted that this may utter words, but the injury that these words placed on the Chief Justice needs to be substantiated in court. By that, you gave him the opportunity to be prosecuted in court. But if you're going to call a man directly to the Supreme Court bench, by the way, Justice is a citizen of Liberia. If he feels that if he take offense in a man insulting his mother, it is his mother that got injured. I think the mother is the one that should be going to court, in the lower court, wherein this man can be able to defend himself. But he was coerced. In the court, they said, "My man, I'm a lawyer for you. Just advise you, oh man, when you go over there, you tell the people sorry." First and foremost, you can't be the prosecutor, you can't be the complainant and the prosecutor in the case. Yemi Bese should have recused himself from this case and allow this man to be prosecuted. And, you know, this guy is a vile human being. Trust me, I'm not in support of him. But the idea is, if you set the precedent like this, and like you're going to force everybody into submission to even utter anything to say, oh, I mean, just imagine if the nation, the people are telling the president you are corrupt.
Yes.
What's wrong with the Chief Justice?
Mm-hmm.
This guy just hit one branch of the government. What's wrong if they tell the man he's corrupt? And the man stated, they said that this guy is a Chief Justice, but he's involved in the businesses. He got hotels, he got everything over there. How did he get there? So do a legitimate thing for you to come and hold him and incarcerate him, and they not only placing him 6 months, but telling him when he come out, he should write people that XYZ, he will not say them. I mean, it's scary, and it goes to all of those that are going to be opposing the government stand on issues. Because on a daily basis, Baka is a corrupt man. He tell all officials. So like the justice minister will just go about arresting everybody that say the government is corrupt. And this is the clarion call to the likes of Yeke and even the journalists in Liberia that are critical of the government.
Yeah.
They're going to tell you that, oh man, yeah, there are certain words, just use it. But the sycophantic part about Mong and Madea Yassine is the fact that you have the current government that nurtured this behavior for 6 years.
Thank you.
The sanction aid. Even today, they were posting pictures of Prophet Key and Barker shaking hands with his wife and everybody, and they're sitting in the same gathering.
Mm-hmm.
There are evidence all over the place that this behavior was sanctioned. Even the likes of Darius Dillon, everybody, the people, the rally monies and supported them, and they accepted those donations. In the United States, if a man is questioned like that, the next thing people go back to their donation and say, you know what, I'll give this donation back because why? They are not in line with my beliefs and what I stand for. But I bet you they're not going to do that. So it's just to silence the opposition and everybody critical voices in our country, and that's the president here. So.
And they don't see it that way. They don't get it.
It's a problem. Again, like I stated, trust me, we all have been under the brunt of this guy rude behavior, insulting parents and everything else. We are all victims around here. But the idea is, if you nurture it, it's just like Cindy, and then this child, there are certain basic things you don't instill in that, or you allow them to go and be. The first thing is, I want to get out there. They think that it's a way of life, and they will exhibit it on other people. And this was the case. This is the kind of that brought this government. And they may tell you everything. This is what I did to support this government, and it was sanctioned by even the flag bearer of the government today, who happen to be Volkai. Okay. Now, what are you going to say about the lives of? Let me just lay on the real code. What are you going to say about the lives of Judy Andy when she went to the lower court, and the legal advisor to the president, they said, "Oh, boy, the man is at liberty to say whatever he wants to say. You can't incarcerate anybody for it." He stated that.
Yeah.
So I posted today. I said, what Bruce Mikeda got to say about this? Have you called the Chief Justice to tell you stay away from this man because it's liberty to speak out? So the circumstance, I mean, it's just too glaring, and it's very offensive. But people are looking at it from the perspective that, oh yeah, they may insult it. Granted, they are emotionally connected and they need to speak out like that. But the idea is, this is a bad precedent that is going to trouble people in a long time in our country.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Brother Ebi. Let me ask more quickly before we go to the line. Mark, are you sensing that, because from all indications, maybe there are some procedural errors, are you sensing that maybe there's a Jonko justice, maybe activities or maybe things have been done today? Because from what Ebi just said, I think is really taking us to the issue of Jonko justice. I'll say, maybe sending you to 1 minute, at least we can use 1 minute. Are we experiencing Jonko justice, that you will be the complainer, at the same time you will be the prosecutor, at the same time you will be everything?
Yes.
What kind of system is that?
That's why I said, well, the biggest mistake Prophet Kia did to himself. He should have called for that Chief Justice recusal. Then we're going to see when Netflix will take the case, because cases come from lower court to higher court. In this case, like I said, it was an intimidation strategy so that nobody can stand up to represent. That's why he would bring up men of Prophet Kia before the full bench of the Supreme Court. No, it was premeditated. It was calculated.
Indeed.
First of all, I said, the contradiction from your judge is a procedural exercise. Then Prophet Kia should come and say why he shouldn't be held in contempt. That's why he was oscillating between freedom of expression and then denigrating the integrity of the court, because he cannot get Prophet Kia on other ones, so he makes them up. But like I said, it's a bad precedent, it's a power grab, and there's a political move. I won't be surprised. So what they are saying is, Melbourne or guy like you, the day you say Judah Burger is corrupt, they are also coming for you. That's what they want to tell us. Because they example, because they know not everyone cause man cause. No, but we will criticize the government, we'll call them corrupt, we'll call them name. So if we can cause man cause, we will criticize them on the merits, then we'll become the victim according to the new standard and the new precedent. That's the one thing that people are not looking at. They only see Prophet Kia, but no, there is not about Prophet Kia. It's bigger than Prophet Kia. Way bigger.
Yes, Bon, you are so right on that. And the thing about it is that a Yemi business offender, I think this strictly should have started from the lower court, prosecute the man from the lower court, and let go in the merit of what transpired. But no, you take the man straight to the Supreme Court, and then you provide him a lawyer, and then the lawyer coerces him to say, "Oh my God, go tell you sorry." And then what else? Sorry is you're admitting guilt.
You're admitting
so
guilt.
Nothing else you have to plea on. If you tell the man sorry, you can't tell him you say refuse yourself.
But if I get you, you're throwing the line, maybe let it chairman before we can go to the caller, then you can chime in one more. Sure. Chairman, you are live.
Sir, how are you?
Fine.
Well, I haven't been following the show because we have a funeral here today. But I just chime in because I think it's an opinion that everyone's expressing. And it brings us to the point where we ask ourselves, what kind of Liberia do we really need? And I'm afraid to tell you, we are on a bad slope going downwards. And I don't know whether we'll be able to redeem Liberia in our lifetime, because it seems like everything that's law and order is being lost. So tell me, what are you guys discussing regarding this Prophet Key stuff?
No, it was just what happened today about the precedent that has been set by the Supreme Court and the idea that you take a local or case or local matter that could have been adjudicated maybe in a circuit court or any local magistrate going directly to the Supreme Court. So the thing is the precedent that has been set by this Chief Justice, because you cannot make the case for freedom of expression and talk about attacking the integrity of the Supreme Court. So the fact that he could arrest Prophet Key in the name of free speech, no, that was the wrong precedent. And that was, for me, I mean, says yeah got her own point, AB got his point, but I'm just talking about the precedent because I know there's a political move and they will use it to target other people in the future, most especially Yeke Koluba. I will say that on the show live. They will target him as well because I think that's the new precedent that has been set by this Chief Justice. That's my take on it. So where's your take, and then we can transfer to the callers and the rest of the panelists.
But you're absolutely right. The take is simple. It is Prophet Key today. Tomorrow could be anyone. So what happens when you go to fight with the Chief Justice mother or his father or his children? And you say, oh, by the way, I will cost your father because you must have fighting. Will he intervene in every case? Look, when we are elected to an office, we are the property of the people. If you don't have thick skin, resigned. But I'm disappointed in Prophet Key. And I was a supporter of Prophet Key. But I'm disappointed in him. The justice asked him to show cause why he should not be held in contempt. Prophet Key raised two issues, and Liberians are not even thinking about that. The issue is that the judiciary is very corrupt. That the Chief Justice took bribe. And then he went and insulted the Chief Justice, which many of us could say is not a way to express your viewpoint. What Prophet Key should have done, and because he didn't do it, I think they're justified to give him a sentence. First, he should have called for Chief Justice to recuse himself. Honor our jurisprudence. You cannot be the judge and the jury at the same time.
No, you can't.
So you have called for the Chief Justice to step aside. And Prophet Key should have done us a favor and openly expose the Chief Justice because of impeachable crime. Then he say you have proof. Where's the proof? So if you didn't show the proof, then it becomes relations. And the Chief Justice have the right, but constitutionally he violated the rights, and the precedent he set today will live and punish everybody else. So the Chief Justice can say, I don't like the way you speak. And therefore he can put you in jail. Prophet Key was not before the court. Contempt charges are either before the court or disobey the court's order. Contempt has never been where you or somebody falls in the street and then you say, oh, Chief Justice is contempt. Contempt of the court. If you think that the man insulted your mother unjustly, do one or two things: resign and bring him to court, or lay a mother file lawsuit against him.
Yep.
But what if Chief Justice has done? He's violated the spirit of the law and the actual law. But I don't blame him, because when you have advocates who sell the advocacy for dollars or blackmail people in the process, then they deserve what they get. If Prophet Key was truly an advocate, he should have brought the proof. Show us that the Chief Justice took money, and then would demand that they impeach the Chief Justice. But he didn't show anything, and then he goes to court and say, oh, I apologize. Apologize for what? So all of those you abuse over the years, you're going to apologize to every one of them.
Yep.
Without showing cause. Yeah, you have a right to free speech. We also have a responsibility to live in a decent society where people without any proof. So I'm assuming right now that Prophet Key has absolutely no proof. And if he doesn't have any proof, then why it may be illegal in my viewpoint for the Supreme Court to jail somebody, because the Chief Justice was sitting in his judgment. The complaint is against the Chief Justice and Prophet Key. So how can the Chief Justice sit?
Yep.
On a normal court, that would be appeal, right?
Yep.
If I went to a lower court and the judge in the lower court cannot sue me and he sits in judgment. You see? So how come the Chief Justice was sitting judgment Prophet Key? But Prophet Key should have been man enough, and he was a true advocate, showing the public the proof that he has against the Chief Justice. And by today, we'll be talking to somebody else, because the Chief Justice we had absolutely no reason to sentence him to 6 months or even 1 day, because he wanted Prophet Key to show cause why he should not be held in contempt. I will show my cause because I think you're corrupt. These are my evidence. Oh, by the way, I will not sit before you here, because you cannot sit in judgment of a case that you are
the complainant. You are the complainant.
My viewpoint is Liberia is heading in the wrong direction.
Indeed.
Waka as president now, if you call Waka, what do you do?
You're coming for Milton. Yeah.
Yeah, they will arrest you.
Okay. So Waka now has a right. If the Speaker of the House and the President pro tem now have the right to arrest anybody. That's what the Supreme Court is telling you. And Liberians are dancing, oh, because Prophet Key has nothing to do with the rights of our people.
Amen.
Today, what happened when they arrest you in the street?
Yeah.
Prophet Key was wrong for insulting, expressing that way, or for the Chief Justice to say that I will sentence him. So the law is now some part of the law in the hands of the Supreme Court to execute on our behalf. So okay, he called the president, and the president said, you insulted me, and say I will lock the president up. I will lock Yeka Kolba up because Yeka Kolba insulted us.
That's the point. That's the thing.
And he said that Yeka does not have the right. Oh, by the way, as Chief Judge, since I interpret the law says that I should lock you up. Because I'm the interpreter of the law. So if Yeka Kolba or anybody else claims as a Chief Judge, and Liberians are not being mad, but I see educated people dancing in the street because of Prophet Key.
Yeah.
But today it's you, it's Prophet Key today. But as Precedent, though, why call Precedent?
All right,
the next time, we should not allow the Chief Justice, Prophet Key, to go to court. But on the other hand, before I land, Prophet Key has absolutely discouraged most of the advocates like Cindy. When you talk, you better make sure you have your evidence, because the public cannot defend you or protect you if you are talking out of anger, or you're talking because you want to destroy somebody or you want to blackmail them.
All right, gentlemen. Thank you anyway. It was not having the show today. I already went to hear from. I hope it's a
Yes, indeed. So let's move to the line quickly and hear from our people out there. The chairman just said the Liberian people don't 100% depend on them if you're an advocate, because when the going is tough, they won't be able to stand by you. So there are some procedure errors, but I think other people are also commenting that Prophet Key, a lawyer, not really do well for him. By the way, let's move to the line quickly to this call. David King. David, good evening. Yeah, my brother, 1 minute, please.
It's not about Prophet Key insulting somebody. Prophet Key has been insulting people for barely a decade now. Prophet Key, the entire government tried to clamp down on free speech. Because it was jury case, they said the issue of free speech. What is different from jury case and that of the Chief Justice case? That's the thing. Prophet Key just got Jula Baga man and Kato Baga man and Chili. Why did they carry the Supreme Court? Today, men like you, if you spirit side, Jula Baga problem, tomorrow will warn you. Critical journalists and civil sides will be in the country, they all will get the bubble.
Thank you, my dear brother. To this caller, good evening.
Good evening.
Yes, my brother, go ahead. Your name and from where you join us.
This is Pastor Davis. So let me set the record straight. I think the court should be able to create more rooms for many Liberians. If you think this is the way to calm down on free speech, you dead miss it. You miss it. We will forever speak and will speak. In fact,
when we say the government is a mess, it is the actions that you find there. You listen to your panelists. How can you be the referees and be the player? Why you did not recuse yourself? There are high-profile cases before you. Why this one? This case is not a criminal case. It is not a criminal case. Why it raised to the Supreme Court? Now all of the court. I mean, look, remember, there's useless people over there.
Man, please, don't be don't be using this word. Hello to this caller. Good evening. Yes, my brother, go ahead.
This is the voice of the common voice chairman, and I speak for the common people. My name is T.O.P. Willie. I'm calling from Sktv-Lib district. Therefore, this is a sad thing to see for the justice system of Nigeria. There is alternative of justice. People are looking at it now and they are laughing. And I like the same Mo is speaking. Mo was just speaking, it was like, we were speaking my mind, I was like, let me just put him on my back and just turn around with him. This is just an example. President, they were looking for a loan. I'm not even setting up for the key. Therefore, real estate management that they go to suppress and muscle film fish. And people are not looking in that direction. And this government was very serious. Fuck us. Just about radio. I'm sorry, Kennedy. Don't take Facebook. I mean, Kennedy, the name can cause my fault. Literally, the wrong one. I mean, Kennedy, the work within the government is a minister of presidential affairs. So, the work in the president office. What about him? What about President Biden and warning or Fatima for telling the former leader of ANC for taking that back, telling the man that he was supposed to clear. What happened? After a few moments, she was given a job. So the government is not sure to fight any, thing called abusing and everything in the public. They don't care about the family of society.
All right. Thank you so much, my brother. Today's caller, good evening.
Yeah, it's I joined from Tishville to be precise community.
Go ahead, my brother. Go ahead, Isa.
Yeah, maybe we always say this government, they are not tolerant. They associate just say they want to take to them, but on the side to of a kid lawyer, all the lawyer were afraid to go and sit before the full bench to defend poverty. You understand? Like I was listening to the chairman. The chairman said it rally. You cannot be a reverend, you be a player. You understand? I may want to recuse himself on that bench.
Yeah, the case going to be fun. Yes, indeed.
Yeah, the evidence that poverty have that the man is corrupt. There are cases the man have hotel. There are cases there are cases that are reached on my desk. There are evidence I get in my possession that I needed to fact to report. You understand? But you can sit, you be the reverend, be the player. Okay, in case let one kill a very, we can probably have several options to even say, yeah, you want to fire you. Where will you fire you?
Well, probably I will apologize though. I think that was the first day.
The lawyer did not do well. They did what people think it will be for. They don't protect you. They only took protect you on the boss to come high on free speech. Now, why I notice it? Yeah, the people, they think what they're rejoicing on, it's not something for them to rejoice. The justice system, when they corrupt, we say they are corrupt, so that they just open jail for everybody.
All right, thank you so much. So let's wait and see what's going to happen next. So let's call up. Good evening.
Yeah, good evening.
Yes, my brother, go ahead.
Thank you very much for your two minutes. This is our debut song here. I think the discussion for Ominga Market in letter of some of the people. Therefore, the thing in this country will always say that two wrongs cannot make one right. And what happens to the people? Therefore, instead the mayor and the mayor, there's something wrong. But it's the procedure to you tell the Senate, let's not be
Yeah, procedure error.
In this country. Why do they have to say at the start the kind of man? You say some people judge, they see just yes. But now the procedure you follow is wrong. So what next for the chief justice of this country? What next? God is also in error. They follow the right of the prosecutor, the
Thank you so much. Today's caller, good evening.
Good evening, neighbor. How are you today?
Yeah, my brother, I'm doing great. Thank God for that. Go ahead.
Okay, my name is Mahmoud Sefu. I'm calling you from Brother. But you know, neighbor, for me, I'm looking at it from different end. The end that I'm looking at it from is that some of us, the purpose of our advocacy against this kind of wide way of profanity, and today it becomes like, I mean, if my own question is, will it continue? That is just all about it. But you know, a snake gets into your house, and then at the end of the day, you want to kill that snake, and maybe you kill the snake, and all of a sudden you spoil the air conditioner, you spoil the TV, you spoil this and whatsoever.
I like that.
If you find the matter, you are just getting rid of the snake. Maybe your brother or your father will go and say, you spoil all these things there, and then maybe want to punish you for not taking your own time to kill it. Procedural error is what really the justice system went about to what they call it. But this thing over for Joe Town, for whoever town, for Charles Town, up to Cora, this level of profanity that is taking on the airway in Nigeria is becoming so wild to the extent that even in the car with your children, you to your household radio, the moment you hear some of these people talking, you have to tune it off. But now, this is what we need. If they could start it like this, let it just continue. But anybody who go about accusing people falsely, go about
Even the social media too, right? Even at the office of the president, where there are a lot of allegations that someone who currently working at the office of the president also, people have evidence that in fact they've been insulting back to back.
If you start something, whenever you get in the hole, if you start going behind it, then you are setting the correct precedent. And that's the right way for us to go with it. But to be selected, that is where some of our, and then the procedural error that the Chief Justice used that of this level of profanity that they have put the profanity in jail today, that is a clear example that people should start profanity.
All right. Thank you, my dear brother. Today's caller, quickly. Good evening. We'll go back to our panelists. Okay. Thank you, my dear brother, for joining us from Cape Mount.
Is it true that because of Prophet Key that the entire chambers of Supreme Court were full today?
Yes, the full bench.
All the cases, corrupt cases in the country, they can't be serious about it. That's my question.
Maybe some of the cases too, maybe the people don't read that yet, or maybe they don't have evidence. So when you get evidence, you go to the court will do the case, my brother.
Well, so I've Prophet Key that he was speed up with a case within less than 72 hours.
Well, my brother, that's it. Maybe the Chief Justice have the evidence and so forth.
So expect that Prophet Key case.
Yes, quickly, your last caller.
Even though we condemn the abuse from Prophet Key, when they say anything, I'm asking the Chief Justice, say anything that he used, that the Prophet Key case, he just did it all the day. He should be used exactly energy to speed up other cases. Because other people have died from frustration from spending money and to the against justice. Other people just decide and say, let me tell you my own to go. Other people have spent, they didn't know how to spend. But see, for the key case, and everything go to there, we will not see justice, the Chief Justice get justice. So it should be done in the case of other people. The free energy should be applied. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much. There are a lot of rape cases or cases that, in fact, even the few times when the 17-year-old boy, the 15 or 16-year-old boy that was sodomized and so forth. But we'll buy more. We got to go no much time. I think tomorrow we will continue with the kind of discussion or people have more interest in these things. But Ali,
you go first.
Yes, I've been busy in the back there, but I've been following. Like everybody said, this whole thing, it's not about Prophet Key. Yes, because like I said, when the man Nikushu Ben Keita, one of Joseph Baka 50 advisors, when Julie Tapper took Prophet Key to court, he was the seaman that went there and quoted all the Kamara or Abdullah whatsoever, and Prophet Key was vindicated. Why today he couldn't go and do the same thing in this case? But it is not about Prophet Key, like everybody said here. The next target is Yaka Koluba. Yes, like Yaka Koluba, their target. This is where they are going now. So tomorrow they will say, oh, Yaka Koluba freedom of speech has limitation. The other articles say this, the other law say this, the other penal code. And at the end of the day, Yaka Koluba is their target. And also, all the major critics against the government, people who are criticizing the government, say, oh, this government is corrupt, this government is like this. Because for me, in my mind, they only said this thing, but because of Key saying that the Supreme Court, they are corrupt, the Justice Minister, the Chief Justice, all of these people, that's why they carry him over there. He should show proof. This is not about causing. So tomorrow, anybody come and say Joseph Baka corrupt, the other minister corrupt, the other director corrupt, the government is corrupt. So now all the journalists in Liberia and other people, even they are not journalists that will criticize this government, they are coming to sanction freedom of speech in the country. This is just the beginning. Thank you. They will see you tomorrow again.
Mabel, thank you. President, thank you to the Liberian people who call you. Thank you for your bravery. Continue to speak up. Democracy does not function without the people. It does not matter what laws they pass. We have to stand up because Liberia existed before Joseph Boakai or any of the people or Jamin Baisi, and Liberia will exist after them. So for that to stand, we all have to continue to raise our voice. And like Emmanuel said, I'm disappointed in Prophet Key. This was where he needed to show up his wisdom. This is where he needed to call meeting and say, listen, I can't get a lawyer in Liberia. Anybody who have some sort of insight or inkling on how the law works in Liberia, please give me some input so I will be able to defend myself. He could have defended himself. He didn't have to need a lawyer that would push him. So he was intimidated, he was coerced. That's what I think. But this undermines true modern democracy. Thank you. You all have a good day.
Maybe.
Yeah, thanks, man. Let me say thanks to everyone, the callers, and then of course you guys on set. You know, the thing about people are just forgetting. Just a little over or less than a year or a little over a year, if I'm not mistaken. This is the same Chief Justice that was involved with the Autry virus case. Remember?
Oh yeah.
He rendered judgment in favor of the minority black, but only to go back at the scene when negotiation was made that, oh man, yeah, go X, Y, Z, and then we will make it Chief Justice. So, in my opinion, how will you call that? Isn't that a corrupt behavior? So, I mean, for people to say, oh, they're denigrating the court, they're doing X, Y, Z, but in broad daylight, the very Chief Justice exhibited such habit to the point that family representative from Bunk County stated that the Chief Justice was talking liquor talk. They used all that thing. Why didn't J family to? Family denigrated the court. He stated that.
Yep.
And then he was never cited by the court, the very court, nothing at the kind, against the very Yamik Bese, because he was involved with the majority of the bench members to run out an opinion in the case that had to do with Fanatic Kofa, and on the side of Fanatic Kofa. Later on, the very case came back because there was a backdoor bargaining. Then the Chief Justice said, oh, my man will make you Chief Justice if you can do X, Y, Z. And then he somersaulted. So I don't know, how will you call that? Isn't that a corrupt behavior? It don't have to be physical money taken given to you. So those are the issues that it becoming scary, Mom. And then until people understand it, it's not about Key, this guy, yeah, they call Key or whatever his name is. This guy is a vile human being. I'm not defending him here. But we're just trying to set what is the democratic tenor of this country and when it comes to justice. Because the issue is that they are setting the pace, or they have set it already, because there is a precedent, especially at the law of the higher court right now. Nobody, even if they take you to court, then you can't take an appeal to the very court because they got precedent there already. So it's a scary thing. And people need to look at it from that perspective. It's not a question about this guy vile behavior. But it's just the precedent that has been set is very bad and it's frightening. Today I'm hearing people, the very rescued missionaries that were on the bandwagon of this very vile human being, the light of Key, the light of Butt Naked and all the guys, insulting all over the place, antagonizing people. Today they are talking about, oh, the next person is Yeke. Because why? It's not fitting them today. They use these people like a dump truck. Now that they have accomplished their aim, they don't want to hear them anymore. They don't want to hear those kind of profanity anymore. But mind you, they nurture it. So, guys, let me not take our time, man. Great show, and then we got to keep speaking on those things. I know Liberia is heading in a direction that is getting scary, and don't be surprised when global winners, other people start writing report on Liberia again. It's, oh, some people in the diaspora they undermining Liberia. That's why Liberia getting all the bad reports.
I always say, yeah.
And, you know, so again, man, guys, thanks for the time, everyone. And
thank you, Abby. Thanks, yeah, and everyone that contributed to the show. It was a great show. We'll continue the discussion tomorrow. I don't know if I will be here. I think Steve will be here tomorrow. We will talk about the whole issue of when they say bring proof, what that proof means. That proof means so many things, but it's a weapon that they always use because they are the one that wields power. So you have to understand how you are dealing with them. I will reiterate my point. There was nothing but a power grab. There was a coercion strategy. It was an intimidation strategy to force Prophet Key into a
submission.
Yes, submission. Because they couldn't get him on guilt. They couldn't make the case legally for finding him guilty, so they forced him. That's what they did. But anyway, folks, thanks for the time, and it was great being here. We'll do it again tomorrow, God's willing.
Thank you, my dear brother. Thanks to all of you. Thanks to Brother AB for joining us. Dive into the time. Yeah, we see you on tomorrow by the grace of God. Those of you thinking that maybe a friend or maybe we'll not talk. No, we will talk. In fact, we will talk more than what we're doing here. So thank you to all of you for always following us. Thank you so much. Good night. We see you on tomorrow by the grace of the Almighty God.
There are things we can do. We bring in good news and we give it to you. We judge it for podcast and connecting people and culture from here and up out of the globe. Monitor people who waiting to sell. The blessing that time and the efforts are rest. The project is giving us here and the promise of them. The work with my life without fear.
A lyrical health.
Master.
Cleverly, so make you. I can't ask you if you been you. Say my journey, Tina can I say my jamo. And yes, I know money. And more I know. And you love me. More I know.
Sktv, the best in Liberia. Sktv, the best in Africa. Sktv, the best in Mama Liberia. Must hold by the lofa and grand bazaar.
And I delay ya to money, and I salia ya to money, and I wanna play ya to money, and I put ya to money, and I delay ya to money, and I salia ya to money, and I wanna play ya to money, and I put ya to money, and I don't get it now ya to money. That's the baby, and I don't get it now. Cause you walk on my ya to money. Yeah.
Sktv, the best in Liberia. Sktv, the best in Africa. Sktv, the best in Mama Liberia. Must hold by the lofa and grand bazaar.
There are things we can do. We bring in good news and we give it to you. We talk it for podcast and connecting people and culture from here and up out of the globe. Monitor people who waiting to sell. The blessing that time and the efforts are rest. The broadcast we giving a real and the promise my best. To work with my life without fear. From Grandfather Nima to Lufa, from Riverside, River G to Chile, from Grand Crew, Bombing, Kidman, Montserrat, San to Bacalu, from Maryland, Bonk to the Mikey B. We the best in the land, yeah, LIB. We the best in the land, yeah, LIB. We the best in the land, yeah, LIB.
Sktv, the best in Liberia. Sktv, the best in Africa.